So that is about as much time as I want to spend in this place. I've cleaned off some oil on the engine. They've spilled oil on it when they serviced it, and I fixed the oil leak before. Hope that was the reason for why the boat reeks of engine oil when I've been driving the motor for a while. So it didn't help, so I've cleaned off with brake cleaner now, so the whole boat stinks a bit from brake cleaner, but that's a different story. So today I'm just gonna motor the whole day, just to make sure the engine stays hot for a long time. So I'm gonna motor a full day, and that's also a good test for the engine, I guess, because the only thing I've been really motoring for a bit was when I went from Haugesund to the inlet of Hardangerfjord, and then it really was stinking. So I'm going to do another test today, because now I've cleaned off everything, so it should be good now. So I'm just about to untie the lines, and I figured I could show you how I go about doing that with a boat when you're alone. It's a bit of stuff to think about. So on the aft end, I've doubled back my line from this cleat on the dock through this to my cleat here on the boat. So I'm gonna untie this line and just let it and pull it back onto the boat, because it will just run around here. It's no problem. Just make sure there's no knots and kinks on the line. I've done the same thing up front. I've doubled back the line, so I'm just gonna undo that from the cleat and pull it back into the boat. So there is a bit of wind blowing me off the dock today, or from behind, so I will go forward and so on, and that is good, because I need to get my stern out to clear this boat behind me, but not as far as that I get into trouble with this marina arrangement over here. So I'm gonna untie the line on the aft first. So I'm just prepping my line here, so I know that there is no kinks in it, so I can just fall down into the water. That's no problem. And then I hold the line back to the other side, like so. Take my line and I just walk forward, because here I have plenty of room to lay out my line. Afraid the camera angle is not going to be good. Now the stern is free, line is on deck, and I can put my attention to the line at the bow. So now, as I'm pulling this line, the stern is gonna go out because of the friction here. So I'm gonna have to use both hands. Now the bow is also clear. As you can see, the stern is now pointing in a good direction. My prop walks the boat back into the dock a bit, so I have some time. So now I'm at my helm's position. Rudder midships, reverse. And this is perfect conditions for doing this. So if my boat walks onto this boat a little bit, I just turn the helm away a little bit. So now I'm reversing my way away from the dock. But these conditions are perfect. So if it looked easy, it was. But this is a really nice boat. It is huge. Well, I don't need a boat that big. I wouldn't mind having one that big, but man, it costs money. So we are in the clear and moving on. So I'm going to motor this whole day. So I'm going to leave the enclosure up and yeah, just put on all the heat from the engine and so on, and try to heat up the boat as much as possible, blow as much air through the boat as possible, and let all of stuff that can stink on the engine burn off today, because I need this to be over with. I want the boat to smell like it's clean. So that's what I'm about to do today. So it's gonna be no sailing today. That's the plan. No sailing. I will do my best. And I'm going into a part of the fjord that would be difficult to sail anyway, with the time frame that I have. So I guess yeah, today is a good day to do this. And I'm planning on going back to this marina tonight, just to have a good starting point for tomorrow. It's a bit far to go all the way in this fjord that I'm going in now. I'm going into a place called Odda. You have to go in a long straight arm of this fjord, and I believe the wind is going to blow out the fjord today, but you never know what the wind is going to do it because of the mountains. So just a couple of degrees off in the wind direction may cause a lot of change in how the wind is behaving in the fjords, and also the strength of the wind and so on. It's really difficult to foresee what the wind is going to do, and in one place you have this perfect condition, and 500 meters ahead is completely different. So now we've turned the boat around, so I'm just going to forward gear. And when you got these fin keels, as long as the boat moves backward, it turns the same way, and it's almost like if you're sliding with a car when you go into forward, and it has its momentum, and it's no keel that stops this momentum, so it's it's almost a bit weird. So I'm gonna put the autopilot on. Hope it's no ferries that is coming into this place today. It's a ferry dock right over here. Oh, the ferry is there already. So the ferry is there. Try to stay out of the way of the ferry because it has the right of way. All commercial shipping in Norway, inside of the outskirts of Norway, have right of way, even over sailboats. So you need to stay clear of these, but they are generally rather helpful. So I'm gonna get out of its way as quickly as I can. So, quick little update. We are motoring along. Heading in Kinsarvik towards Odda. You see it's miserable in there, but it's miserable any day in Odda. I guess it's miserable any day in Odda. No, I guess it's not. It's just, I don't like the place. Yeah, this is Norwegian farmland. You see, they are growing apples and so on. You can see they utilize these sloping terrains and doing as well as they can. This is a rather warm place in the summertime because of the mountains. So it's and you get good air through here as well. So it's a nice place. On top here you have the glacier Hardangerfjord, and it goes over to Jondal. And behind us you have Lofthus, and yeah, where we came from. Behind this nib on this side we have Kinsarvik, the place that we came from. So sometimes there is cargo ships going in and out of this fjord, so I'm keeping an eye out for them, and also people in small vessels. But I have actually managed to do the dishes and everything today, so now I'm sitting down to have some lunch. So I'm sitting in the inside of this enclosure, and the autopilot is doing the steering of the boat, and yeah, it's okay. I'd rather be sailing, but today I need to figure out why do I have this weird smell from the engine. I've cleaned the engine really thoroughly now, but still some smell coming, and I'm wondering if it is from I'm not sure. I have to check a bit more. So yeah, now it's time for some lunch, a cup of coffee, perhaps a bit of snack, and then we'll have a look around the engine, see if there is any smell coming from the engine, or if it's just old stuff. So part of this reason for doing this trip today is if I spend a whole day motoring, if there is anything on the engine that needs to be burned off or dried out or something, that should happen during the day. I hope so. So I figured this is the best way just to do this. So I'm trying this today. See if it works. I'm gonna look around back in the sugar scoop and so on. If there is anything weird there, the exhaust hose is going through there. It could be something with the exhaust. I don't know. It doesn't smell like exhaust, but you never know. Old marine engines have a weird smell sometimes. So yeah, that is today's situation. So lunchtime. So short update. We are still motoring in the fjord. We're about halfway, and it's been blowing like stink in here. It's even so much that I was considering sailing back out, because the wind is blowing straight out of the fjord. It is too much for me to sail. It was blowing, well, now it's come down just below 20 knots, but it was blowing over 20 knots for the last hour, and it was really noisy in here because the enclosure was flapping about so badly. And since the fjord is so narrow and the wind angle is a bit inconsistent as it passes through this fjord, shifts from one side to the other, I don't dare to put the snow out sailing downwind here, and not the main either. because in one moment you have the wind pushing the genoa to one side and you are happy with the angle, and all of a sudden it's going to change with little or no warning. And if that happens, I'm afraid to rip something or break something, so it's not worth trying to sail this back out, and that's not the point of today either. I wouldn't go in this fjord today anyway, but it wasn't supposed to blow like this. There was supposed to be no wind at all in here, but that's life. So I'm just sticking to plan A, motor all the way into Odda, turn around and motor straight back out. And the plan is to go back to the marina that we spent last night in. Quick little update. We are getting closer to Odda now, but just want to show you something. We're passing a place called Tyssedal. It's an industrial site, and yeah, just wanted you to have a look at this. This building here is a power station, a hydro plant, and that's all good, but they put some effort into making this building look good, and I think that is a good thing. This is just a functional building. It has only one purpose, and that's to create electricity. But when you try to make it look good as well, even though the place doesn't look that great, I think that it's a bit nice. This place is a museum now, so you can come here and have a look around. I'll just hold the camera outside and pan the boat around and give you a quick look at Odda. So that is about as much time as I want to spend in this place. So now I'm heading back out. This arrangement over here is the main business of Odda. Usually there is one or two big cargo ships tied up here, but today there is none. and I don't know if business is slow or whatever, but they are producing zinc right here. And yeah, that's the main business in here these days. It took me 4.5 hours to get in here, and I guess I'll get back out in about 4 hours. I guess I will have some more speed because the wind is with me on the way out. And then it's gonna be late, so then we'll go to the same marina that we spent last night in. So that's the plan. Yeah, we're almost halfway back out the fjord now. Making okay time. I must say this enclosure and so on, and the heat downstairs and so on, it's fantastic. You just sit there in this appalling weather. It's just wonderful. Nice and dry and hot water in the tap. And yeah, no worries about power consumption. It's all just perfect. It's wonderful. And I'm sick of it. Let's go see. I'm just gonna put the Genoa out and I'm gonna start sailing. So I'm gonna put the boat over on this side of the fjord. That's gonna give me a better angle at the wind, and we are going around that corner in the far end there. So it is good to be on this side. That gives me a good angle for the wind in a Genoa. So yeah, I'm just gonna roll that out on one side, and hopefully that's just gonna let us glide along. The wind is, unfortunately, has been dropping off. I had to eat something and so on before I jumped on this opportunity, but I guess there is going to be enough wind for me to do some sailing. I'm not going to hook up the main. It's downwind. I don't really need it. I have a big Genoa. It just takes the wind from the Genoa anyway. So, and if it turns out to be tricky, it's no problem. I'll just start the motor again. So that's it. I'll give you an update when the sail is up. Last thing I said was that I was going to just roll out the Genoa and leave the main down, because I was going to do downwind sailing. I'm going in this direction, and that's where the wind suddenly decided to come from, and it changed rather quickly. When I deployed the Genoa halfway out, it shifted briskly, so I had to I had to do a tack with the Genoa just halfway unfurled, and yeah, make a new plan. So that's done now. This is my third tack, and of course there was a freighter coming, but he was reading the situation nicely and altered his course, so it fitted really well with my tacks. So that was perfect. A big thank you to him. So now I'm probably gonna just cross over this fjord one more time, and I'm gonna take my sails down, because when I'm rounding the corner into the next arm of this fjord, around these corners the winds can be really vicious. So I don't want to tackle that today in this weather. So I'm gonna just prepare myself to furl in the Genoa. So that's what's happening next. So I'm just gonna cross over. I guess there is less wind on the other side due to the wind direction, so I guess that's gonna be better to furl in the Genoa over there. So that's the plan. I would have liked to furl it from the other side, but that's life. If I do one more tack, I'm gonna end up behind a small ridge of a mountain, and that is going to be turbulent air on that side of the fjord. So I have a good spot to fill in the Genoa where I'm going. So where I'm going now, this is a big area that I can hide in. The wind is gonna be easier to handle over there. If I do another tack, I'm gonna end up about this, where this mainland sticks right down into the fjord, and that's quite steep, so it's gonna make a lot of turbulence, I guess. So I don't want to be there when I furl the sail. I don't know how the audio is gonna be on this take, because it is raining like crazy and it's blowing a bit, so yeah, we'll see. Right. So we're back to being a motorboat again. But we got the sail a little bit. Man, did I get what I deserved. Aye, but it was a really good experience. Cold and wet as heck, but it was really good. I hoisted the sails in rather brisk conditions, and I folded up the sails in rather brisk conditions, and yeah, now all I have to do is go up to the boom and put the sail cover, or zip up the sail cover, but that's a quick thing to do, and adjust the sheets for the head sail. That's secure, rolled up, and the line is secure, so it won't unfurl. And we have just a little bit left before we turn into our marina. So I got the sail for, yeah, I don't know, 40 minutes maybe. But that was a good experience doing handling the boat alone in rather rough wind. A bit fluky at times. It wasn't a steady breeze, it was really changing all the time, and also the angle was gradually changing back and forth as you cross the fjord, as it always does. So I rigged the lines before each tack, pulled the lines back to behind the steering wheel, and just flipped the lee side, or the soon-to-be lee side sheet of the head sail off, and as I just turned the helm manually, and pulled the head sail to the new side, and with a sheet already belayed onto the winch, so it was just a haul as heck to get it tight. And when you had it tight, you had a bit much angle to the wind, and it was rather deep, and then adjusting it for high angle sailing again. So it was a really good experience. Of course, I'd like to do this once and then I could sail for a while and get rested, but it was quite physical, and you have to be on your toes, because you don't want to mess up something like this. This is big sails, and there are a lot of power in them, so you don't want them to get crazy on you or tangle up a line or something. It's really tricky. So that was a good experience. So we are arriving at Kinsarvik, and hopefully the slip that I used the boat for the boat last night, or the spot at the dock, is still available. It's early in the season. I don't expect anyone else to have bothered to get into a place like this, so we'll hope that it is free. See, the tall mast here is the Bavaria 47, and we are just entering. So I'm gonna try and film this with my handheld camera. Perhaps I should just secure it to my hand. So now I've secured the camera so I don't drop it, but I'm gonna try and film this. I've prepped all the lines, I opened the gate, fenders are out, so hopefully this is gonna go smooth. hopefully I can manage with the camera in my hand as well. That's a tall order. But some of the footage is not going to be very good because I need to grab lines with this hand as well, so just try and edit away the stuff that's not usable. So the wind is gonna blow me slightly off the dock and backwards, so perhaps I should change hands because I'm operating the throttle with this hand, so I can film with the other one. So we're gonna just sneak in front of this Bavaria. The spot is available, it seems. That's good because I paid for a whole day, so I figured I can just try and squeeze the most out of it. So I arrived last night really late, so I guess I have the whole day. So I'm just going into neutral now. And this boat has got some weight to it. It weighs 8 tons and it has really little resistance through the water. So it glides along really nicely. And in these conditions you don't need any speed because there's not enough wind to blow you off anyway. I've dropped the enclosure because it carries a bit of windage. And of course the visibility is hopeless with the enclosure up. So when I'm docking the boat, I always dock it with without the enclosure. Now I'm heading straight towards the dock and I have a lot of prop walk on this boat, so I'm going to use that to my advantage. So I'm just steering like at 30 degrees onto the dock side here. And now I'm in reverse and just gonna let the boat do its thing. So as you see, the Bavaria behind me is just past and I'm turning to starboard side now to help the prop walk ease the boat into the dock. So now the aft end of the boat is going sideways towards the dock, and I'm just gonna wait just a tad longer. Helm over, neutral, and that's hard to stop it. So now it's just a matter of taking the lines. I've prepped both lines here. I'm just zapping off. So that's it. I'm just going to put the camera down while I tie on the lines. Just an easy knot on each one of these pullers alongside the dock. So I guess it's all going to be good. So here is the boat, dock side. So I'm happy with that. Thankful for the good conditions for docking. It's always easier when the conditions are really favorable. And of course that's not something I can control, but yeah, I feel lucky sometimes.